and it's fast paced. It's it's bang, 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 bang. I love it. I absolutely love this. This is so well done, so well done.
This is. I wish. I know it's good. It's a good thing that it's a weekly thing, but
I want more.
I just want to watch it. I want to watch it. Yeah.
Let's review this episode. I think talking. Hey, gang, as well. Good to see you there. I think overall, I have no complaints with this. This is a good opener. You get your character, you get your character set up. They obviously setting up Rio to have a bit more about him, which I really like. I think in the games
Yeah.
he is a bit wooden in the games, and that is how he was written. But actually here, I think it's delving into him a bit more as a person, as a character, his emotions, his relationships with his friends. That I think is
Yep.
key here, because that whole thing of keep those friends, those you love, close to you. Well, that resonates more here because you're building those relationships. Whereas if you think to the games, he's a lot more standoffish with Nozomi, for example, way more standoffish.
Yeah. In the games, he sort of makes friends along the way, doesn't he?
Yeah,
Whereas it's nice that they've kind of angled this that he's already got those friends as well. Um,
it'd be in,
Along the way, he's going to make more friends
it's
as well.
going to
But
be very interesting to see how his emotion changes as he gets deeper involved in this. I think, like how's that going to change? How is he going to abandon his friends? How are his friends going to have a role in terms of maybe keeping him on the straight and narrow a little bit?
not just a smile BFS, he was bloody laughing in front of Naomi, wasn't he? And that was after his father died as well. So
What I like as well is the opening bit. You're obviously at the dojo. He's going off to, obviously to this tournament. They
yeah,
they cut to Bailey Village, which I think is really clever because you get like a
yeah,
good feel for who
little glimpse of
Shenhua is.
Shenmue as
So
well.
you're getting more of her, which again, I mean, we got two games and didn't really see much of her until the end of the second game, and then you got a lot
I
more.
wonder if they'll keep doing that. Do you think? Do you think they'll keep heading back to Bailu and showing a little bit more of
I think
Shenhua?
they
Or
will. I think they will because they will fill out her character a bit more, which I think's a good
yeah,
way to go. And then what I really like is we've got Yagamashi sat there, who we know is going to teach him double blow later,
yeah,
with a wow, and they're obviously friends. They talk about that in the game, and
hmm
a wow sort of strict teaching comes across. You get to know a little bit more about him and how he was with Rio. And I said it at the start. It harks back to the Sega Saturn footage.
yeah.
Like he could have been saying
It's
something
like
similar there for all we know. But
yeah.
I'm astounded. I mean, I was welling up at the start. I was
I
really,
saw you, mate.
really
It
struggling.
started getting me going a bit, really, when I overlooked at you and you. But that just shows the passion and the how much this means to us, to fans, and everything. Like you're saying about a while there, he has got that kind of. He's like full on 24/7 teacher
Yeah,
mode.
very much so. And I think Rio
You
has
know, like
this.
you've got Rio running home to train, even. So even Rio's not frightened because there is that chat, and this is spoilers in the games or whatever. But Rio speaking to Shenfari, so there is conversation dialogue options for saying like, he kind of scared him a little bit because he was so strict, his father kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, absolutely.
And we've had little glimpses of that.
Yeah, those Nick, those that opening sort of first 5 minutes
They did that
that
well,
punched me
really well.
right in the feels. It really did, and
Yeah,
I'm astounded it's this good. Like words don't do what I'm thinking justice. I don't think
I didn't
it's.
even notice that Shenson. I saw Shenfar looking up at the moon. I didn't realize Rio did. Did he?
And then like Landy, obviously still in Japan, looking over. That's really cool. And they're really playing up this prophecy, aren't they?
Yeah. We mentioned that as it played the second time. I was just wondered if they did it at the start and then they did it again, but I think they did because we had that opening cave cutscene, and that was the dialogue, right,
Yeah,
in the
yeah, yeah.
background. So yeah, they are trying to get that ingrained in people's heads already. That there's prophecy. Just as I think the fact that we have 18 characters from Shenmue One. Are you counting, Joe? But yeah, that exactly. Um, Good attention to detail. Like I know, you've obviously just spoke about it, Matt, how they've changed a few things. Like we've skipped quite a bit to get, Louis-san, and meeting him in Ajiichi is overhearing them chatting while he's eating his noodles or whatever. So they have made some liberties like that just to progress the story a bit quicker, because obviously they're not going to show Ryo running up and down Doita like 5 times. Do you know what I mean?
But what they've
It's just relevant stuff that they've shown.
But what they filled it, with to progress it is characterization. So they've given a bit of the relationship between Ryo and Nozomi, having a meal together, speaking to Tom.
Together.
Those little bits of slice of life where in the games you'd be running back and forth from wherever you're going to. There's, I don't know, they're giving you more. And it is a
flagship. Sorry, Matt. Flagship saying there he feels like some of the stuff not present could still be covered later. So, like you were saying about the chai in the arcade may not happen because of the dojo, but they could still cover that, I suppose, and a bit more world building. Sorry.
And I'm very interested to see how they go into to start going into the lore and the teachings of martial. I think that's one big sort of takeaway from this episode, is that they are leaning on these teachings of martial arts and his kung fu. Literally from the moment that episode started, they're talking about the lessons of kung fu. He beats Chai by his father's advice, so that they're playing on that a lot, and the fact that Ryo isn't ready, and they're going to start building and building and building that. And I think that's key, not just in his training, but also him as a character and him growing up. I think that's really, really important.
So, just on that point then with Chai, does anyone in the chat can refresh my memory a little bit? So, I took it that Landy knows there's a second mirror.
Yeah,
he doesn't know his father's got it. But then, so how does Chai know that Ryo's... I mean, obviously Ryo doesn't know yet where his father's hid the second mirror. But I don't know, it just seemed a bit like, how does Chai know already?
That's a good point.
Or is he just assuming? Because he was overhearing the conversation with Landy saying that there's another mirror, right? He wasn't talking to Landy, was he, in that scene?
But how does...
Chai was overhearing Landy in the car at the harbour, that was it, yeah.
But how does he know to go back to the Hazuki Dojo? Unless he heard more of the conversation that was played.
That Ryo may have more information on it. Right, okay.
Yeah.
That was just a thing I missed, just in case someone did mention that Ryo's got it.
It's very interesting that Landy knows this, because Master Chen in the games talks about Landy may not even know that there's a second mirror, whereas here categorically he does.
Obviously he doesn't. Well, sorry, yeah, he doesn't know that his father had it.
He doesn't know where it is, but he knows of it.
So I think if he knew that it was, at the Hazuki residence, or his father had it, he'd have found it there and then, or beat the shit out of Ryo to find it at the same sort of time. So, I mean, they haven't changed that in a sense. Chai probably just guessed the second mirror's on the dojo.
And we're going all over the place a little bit here, but I love how Ryo got his scar. Like, it literally just brushed him, and then that final blow which took him down. Look,
That's cool.
The fighting is really impactful. Like, it looks painful in a good way, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I do like that Ryo got his scar from Landy, because that is like, it just holds more weight to that, doesn't it? It's like that everlasting mark of the man that killed his father. It's like, this is very morbid, guys, but like, say if someone you knew was murdered, and you got a cut or something trying to hold him off or something, that every time you see that scar, it would always remind you of that event. So the fact that Landy's given Ryo that scar, he's never not going to forget, is he? Do you know what I mean? It's like every time he sees himself in the mirror, especially where it is, that adds a lot of emotional impact, I think, rather than in the games he just happens to have a plaster, and it ends up being a bit of a joke. Yeah, the way he got his scar is great. And then Chai hits him there, so it's got, exactly.
I'm genuinely impressed with this.
Ooh, sheephead. I like that. He says it would be so interesting if Iwai was the one who gave Landy his scar.
Well, this is the thing as well.
That's
Like,
something you
a
could
wow, just before he dies, clearly knows who Landy is. Then
Yeah,
he clearly knows. I know it's
like as a boy, like a younger boy,
yeah,
and then he's
like
come back to.
he obviously knows. He says it can't be you in the games. Like, it's more disbelief that it's him. Whereas here,
Yeah.
he categorically knows it's who it is.
I do find there's like a lot of reoccurring things going on in the Shenmue story. You know, we got deep about Shenfar's background, her history, how she's 16 or whatever she is, and she's having cutscenes where it's 1910 or whatever we worked out. So there's like it feels like maybe there's something happening over and over and over, and so that could be a thing where Rio's dad has done that to Landy's dad. It's doing it back to him, and then it's like a chain of like similar sort of events. I don't necessarily mean something like that has happened to Zimming that we might find out a bit later as well. That sort of thing, because he's on that same sort of revenge path, isn't he, Zimming?
Joe's just sent me an image. I'll ping it over to you, James.
All right, man.
But it's quite. You got funny bear burger that you got, and it's the lunch stand lady.
Was that in that episode?
Hokakuka Lunches. You know where Rio's walking through just after his father's died? You see that woman at the back. It's her. With the apron on. Thanks, Joe. That's much appreciated. Cool. You guys might as well watch the preview on the Dojo channel. Yeah, we will do. I think that's a good shout. It's 30 seconds. We'll watch it in a minute. I think that's a good call. All right then. Right, let's summarise this review up a little bit, because we're going to talk about more of this in the podcast, aren't we?
Yeah. After this, guys, we're going to hop off and actually break it down properly while it's fresh in our thoughts, and then it's going to be released like Friday or something into that, just as a nice recap for people going into the next episode next Sunday, or whenever it airs for you.
So, as a review,
how many times you're going to watch it, Matt?
Well, I'm going to watch it
5 times daily.
Yeah, I'm going to watch the English tomorrow for a start as well.
Yeah, I'll do that.
As a sort of summary, then, in this episode, how few sentences? How would you summarise it?
Insane. I think it only needs one word, mate. I don't think you need a couple of sentences. It's on another level, isn't it? It's like I said, it's better than I was expecting it to be. Like I was hoping for a good quality show, just so it can get spread the Shenmue name to more people. Hopefully that can help the Shenmue 4, but it's blown me away that it's even better. I could tell from the trailers it was going to be good, and then actually sitting down watching a proper episode there, I'm just ready for the whole series. I just think it's going to be such a great ride. Getting through these 13 episodes, seeing what they add, see how they go about incorporating the story that we already know. It's going to be really interesting to see, I think, and I've got no doubts that it's going to be amazing all the way through to the end. After what we've just seen there, I don't think I can't imagine this team doing anything wrong.
No, I can't. And it's left you wanting more. Fuck's sake. It's left you wanting more, and I think any doubts that anyone had would have been put to rest by that, hands down. And even in non-Shenmue circles, this is getting praised everywhere.
Yeah,
it says enough. We are eating good with this. We really, really are. 13 episodes like this. It's going to be a hell of a ride.
And just in case anyone from the team or anything, is watching me and Matt or whatever, I don't know if we can all clap in the chat, because they've done such a great job. Harking all the way back to Yu Suzuki and everyone. It's just
right. Let me pull up very quickly. I'll pull up the teaser.
Right Side of Life is supposed to be the co-director,
executive producer.
Right? Okay, that one. that one.
And I'm just thinking some of the other questions, in terms of Shenmue 4, what impact does this have on it? I've always said, and I think James agrees with me here, I've always said that this is the insurance policy to get the story finished. And actually, based on that, if it had to finish the story, I would take it. However, I want games, hands down. And I think this could be a nice sort of folly for the games. It could be a nice shot in the arm for the franchise to get us the rest of the games. And that's exactly what they want to be doing. And that's exactly what I want it to do.
Yeah. It's the way to go about doing it. I think this is, it's going to give the games a really good chance of succeeding again.
Right, let me quickly just pull this up onto my screen.
Yeah, Spags.
On the next
Me too,
one.
mate. That would be good. And that, to be fair, because I was worried if they finished the season and then we're kind of playing catch up with Shenmue to get that story wise, you didn't really want the anime to overtake the games story wise. So that could be a way of keeping the anime group together if they then help Yu Suzuki work on Shenmue for the game. Just my main concern was like the team just going on to other projects. And obviously you are going to get staff members doing that anyway, because that's just how things happen, projects to projects kind of thing. But I just want whoever's made this particular season to just stick around.
Yeah, well, whoever's made this season in my view, should be around for writing the games, in my book.
Terry, it's supposed to be most of Shenmue 2 in this season, yeah. So most to me sounds like we're going to get to like the helicopter stuff,
yeah,
on the rooftop, but perhaps not the Guilin section. Yeah, and the Kowloon Paddy. Yeah, I think that's probably a good place as well.
Actually,
for it to end.
Right.
And then season 2 is going to incorporate the rest of that, plus your Bali Village, your Meow Woo, and I don't know, whatever else we've got, if we've got Shenmue 4 by then, hopefully.
Fingers crossed. I think this is the way in to a fourth game, I think. And if it's not, and they do have to go down this route of finishing it through the anime, I tell you what, you could do it in worse ways than this, believe me. It's really good. It's spot on.